So, as always, let's start with updates from Shutter.
Hi everyone. So on Shutter side, we released Keeper version 1.3.15, where we fixed a few DKG messaging issues, and we also performed a Keeper set transition to correct these issues. And yeah, that's mainly it.
All right. Testing.
Hi. From my side, I have fixed a couple of issues we found after merging with Hive upstream. And also I helped a little bit Chetna with migration from execution spec test to EST repository.
All right. Maybe Shetna, you want to add something to that?
So all the test cases have been migrated from the execution spec test to execution specs repo. And I've completed the Gnosis transition tool implementation changes, and also like modified the withdrawal tests so that they're in line with the Gnosis now. And all the fixtures are generating as of now.
All right. I seem to be having some technical issues. Should be back now. All right. Shetna, can you send us the link to the repository that has those changes?
Sure.
Thank you. And then let's move on to generic updates. Well, actually, let's first do the balancer hard work thing. So I sent this spec. I will actually add it here again. Sharing link. There we go. Was everything clear on the balancer hard work size for all teams? I guess let's start with Netherminds.
To be honest, I haven't checked it personally, but I think it's very close to something that we wrote already. Yeah. So, Mark, can you like take a look at this and implement if needed? I think we have this somewhat implemented.
Yeah, I was off last week, so I didn't see that sent, but I'll review it and get back to you on that.
Okay. Do you guys think that it's somewhat realistic to do the devnets by end of this week with all the clients, so another monitoring on Reth? I know already implemented it. Yeah, I guess Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you need to really look into it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, but yeah, I need to review it to know for sure.
Okay. Andrew?
Yeah, so a question about censoring. We have it on the private repo, so I was thinking maybe we can keep the censoring code in the private repo and have another release from that repo rather than do a mainstream release with the censoring. But the rest, the code override can be done on the main repo, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, right now we will need one release with both changes, right? So the censoring plus the hard code updates, because we cannot disable the censoring before going through the hard fork. And ideally, I mean, this would be public, because if not, we are again publishing codes to our entire validator base without, you know, them being able to validate or compile it themselves or whatever. So ideally, it would be public. If it's not possible, then I mean, we can talk about keeping it private, but I would really very much prefer that it's public. So if that's an option, I would definitely go for that.
Well, yeah, okay. If we put it into our main repo, we need to somewhat clean up the code and generalize it a little bit and so on. So that'll take maybe a couple of days.
Yeah, I think you don't necessarily need to put it like in your main branch or anything. I don't know if it's doable, but just like a Gnosis balancer specific branch, because anyways, we can remove the codes, let's say, I mean, as soon as the balancer hard fork is done, but just having it public would be good.
Okay.
Even I
yeah,
mean,
but
if you can tag like a version. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but probably like still, I think I or another team member can do it probably tomorrow. So yeah, I think code wise will be ready by Friday or Monday.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. And Guillaume, do you think it's doable for end of this week?
Yeah, I do have a question though. I'm not quite clear when the code rewrite should happen, because there's been a code rewrite already in the history. Should it happen at the same time, or do we need to do it at a different time? Meaning, when I say the same time in terms of Erigan and Guess, I'm talking about prepare. You know, just before executing the block, or do we want to do it at a different time? Because if we don't all do it at the same time, there's going to be a consensus bug.
So the question is whether we do it at the beginning of the block or at the end?
Yeah, before starting the transaction execution, basically, and before running, if I'm not mistaken, also, Debjit?
Yeah, so I'm doing it at the very end of the pre-block execution, basically after, wait, let me tell you. Yeah, after the beacon contract call is done. So apply post-block rewards, and after that we are doing the bytecode retry. Sorry. I think I made a mistake. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah. After the beacon root contract call is made, then I'm doing the bytecode retry.
Okay, so it's after calling the contracts. Okay, so I have to check. Nethermind, do you know when you're doing it? Is that the same? Yeah, or Andrew as well, yeah.
So at the moment, currently it's implemented at the very beginning, so before the beacon route. I mean, I can move it around. So yeah, what does Nethermind do? Maybe you will be the arbiter.
Yeah.
Łukasz? Sorry, what was the question? I phased out. In what when we are doing code overrides at the beginning of the block or at the end of the block?
I would have to check. I'm sorry, I'm away from keyboard. If you can check, it should be in block processor. I think at the beginning, but I'm not sure. I would have to double check.
Okay, I guess we You take oh, Mark here.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say take it offline, but if you can if you can help us break the tie.
Yeah, I guess you can do it offline. Just post it on Telegram, and then we can maybe align with Nethermind's implementation.
So this feature was already once used in Gnosis fork some time ago. So we should keep it as it was, because we want to have the same feature used for both. So we need to either add a new feature if we do it differently, or break something. So we need to keep it as is.
I agree, but I think it's on the code path that is no longer used. Yes, exactly.
Well, it is used if you're doing archive sync from the beginning, right?
Yeah. No, I just meant like I checked the gas code, and I assume it's the same thing with Oregon, which is probably why Andrew did it twice. We like this rewrite only happens in my case when it's before it can only be activated during a pre-merge chain. So I would have to shuffle some code around, which is why I'm asking. Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's take it offline, but the answer is yes. I should be able to as soon as I know where to do it exactly.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. So yeah, let's keep that offline, and then I will update the spec as soon as it's done. I also updated. Of course, I'm not sharing that entire browser, but I also updated the address, and I will post the bytecode after this call as well, so that we can agree on this. And then on next week's call, I guess, or I mean, even before, if possible, we can set a hard fork timestamp. So let's get back to normal, normal client updates, Nethermind.
Right. So we're starting to test a bigger update for after Fusaka goes live. That's it.
Do you have like a few features that it's going to, or few changes that it's going to include?
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but we haven't released from master for a while because of the keeping things stable for the hard forks. I think there's quite a few kind of things which have been in the pipeline for a while.
So there are for sure many RPC improvements, especially in the RPC compatibility. So adjusting to GEF responses, that's one thing. Another, but just after Fusaka, I think we will release something relatively small with the most important bug fixes that we found, but not so critical that we can wait for the fork to be, like live on mainnet. Other than that, sometime after Fusaka, we plan if-get logs, huge release related to RPC performance. That was a problem for Gnosis chain as well. Yeah, I think we already shared Docker images on this. And to be honest, Felipe, if you can double check on it, I would really like to have some feedback about RPC and if it's running Nethermind or not. Some time ago we prepared this Docker image. We can do it one more time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Hopper team tested it fairly extensively, so yeah, we'll ask them to comment on that.
Oh, so yeah, Hopper was testing extensively. I think they are happy right now with that. Łukasz, correct me if I'm wrong.
Sorry, I was checking. What was the question?
So I was saying that Hopper is happy with if-get logs.
Generally, yes, but we will do probably one more change to the index before releasing. So
Okay.
I doubt it will be in the next release, but the next release should be there. So hopefully somewhere in December. or yeah, something like that. Because we found one thing that we are still pretty bad, and we won't release the final version. I think they're still using currently the like the, let's say, late beta or something. How to call it?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but other than that, yeah, I think it would be great if we got some testing from JSON RPC as well, if possible.
For log index or general?
Both, to be honest. Because there were some issues in the past. I'm not sure. Probably they are not the case anymore.
But testing from whom?
From whoever is responsible. I think it's Gateway still, Felipe. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's actually not going to be for much longer. So Gateway is stopping by end of this week, and we replace them with
Okay.
Tenderly. But the thing is that Tenderly uses a fairly custom stack, so it's a bit more difficult to test the RPC specific changes there.
I see. Okay.
But anyways, I mean, we were running this for internal Hopper nodes, so we can probably still continue testing it.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to Aragon.
Yeah, so we've made a release candidate of 3.3. It contains a bunch of improvements also to the RPC, quite a number of fixes. We've also implemented ETH Simulate V1, and we've finished implementing ETH Get Proof, so it's actually production ready. Starting from 3.3, you need a flag to enable it, but yeah, I think we're much more efficient in the disk footprint for ETH Get Proof than Nethermind and Geth, sorry to say. So we'll write a blog post about ETH Get Proof soon. We also have refreshed, revamped our documentation and the help center, and we have experimental parallel execution. So we'll continue working on parallelizing EVM execution and state root calculation, especially in the context of Amsterdam and block access lists.
All right. Perfect. Thank you. Geth?
Hey, yeah, so apart from what we just discussed a moment ago, I would be making a new release. I did make a release just before Dev Connect, which was the last Geth release. So I guess I'm going to, so just to be clear, V1.16.7 GC is out, and I guess I would make V1.16.7 GC2 so that we can get that fix in. I don't think there will be a 0.8 coming out before any fork. I mean, it's next week, so I very much doubt it will happen. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
And the new release will contain the balancer hot fork changes, or?
Yeah, that's what I meant. The 0.2 should contain that hard fork fix. I will not call it balance hard fork for obvious reasons, but yeah, that's what it will be for.
I mean, I think we can make that naming public, because I mean it's very clear what you're doing now, and anyways with the soft fork there shouldn't be any risk. But yeah, on the naming aspect we can think of that as well. Reth?
Yes. So Reth, on the master branch, I also merged a lot of big changes, which essentially allows Reth to have full history. This should have been part of the V1, but unfortunately, due to the balancer situation, we have to release V1 with the balancer hard fork release essentially. So the validators need to do a full resync, which I mean in my case takes a bit more than 1 day. So should be fine. Yeah, I'm currently doing a lot of code changes for the balancer hard fork related to the config, as in like I've tested the changes in its core, but now moving things to the config file instead of hard coding them in the like binary itself. So that also includes the censoring changes. So those will go to master, like, and of course they'll be there in the balancer release. And we will remove that in the Fusaka one. I need one more release for Fusaka because upstream has updated to 1.9 and we are still on 1.8.
All right, thank you. And then yeah, so based on the messages, the previous time we updated, we did a hard fork with bytecode changes, which was before I was here, but I guess was for the token, like the bridge token that is behind the proxy. It was done at the very beginning of the block, so before EIP 4788 and 2935, which is also the way Nethermind and Aragon implemented. So yeah, we should go with that way. So Deb, you will have to update the moment you update the bytecode to be at the very beginning. And Guillaume, I hope that answers the questions. The question, sorry.
Yep, thanks.
All right, so yeah, let's aim to have this done by end of this week so that, yeah, Mark, go ahead.
Just a quick question about this hard fork. So I'm thinking the best way to implement it would be to have a special release just for this hard fork, which contains, all of the censoring stuff and the bytecode override, but then just have this as like a special one, and then only include the bytecode changes in like a proper release. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense. So that was the plan anyways to begin with, so that for Fusaka we can have a clean fork with Fusaka and the bytecode changes. The only difference from the soft fork is that I would like this to be public so that people can just build it from a custom branch if they want to and whatnot. In comparison to the to the soft fork that was very much private without diffs and whatnot. So I just like this to be public this time. It can be on a separate branch, separate repo, even if necessary. But yeah, just public if possible.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. So yeah, if we can do this by end of this week, so that you can start testing on DevNets internally, potentially over the weekends. Of course, I'm not asking anyone to work on the weekends, but we can potentially push this forward a bit, so that we can set a timestamp by the next core dev call, or initially even, ideally even a bit before. But yeah, we can sync offline for the rest. So yeah, I think that's it. Any questions or comments? All right. Thanks everyone for joining, and see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a nice
Thanks,
day.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.